So I have always been excited about machine learning, and I think the combination of
Hmm.
things like structured knowledge into machine learning, I think there's a we're in a golden age of data science and machine learning, and I think it's a very exciting time to be part of it. I think it's getting to be a mature technology, and we're seeing it being applied everywhere, and I think that's brilliant. I think things that really excite me, sort of a bit further out, are things like quantum computing. I think is it's out there. There's some prototypes, there's some things working there, but I think that's a real revolution in terms of how computing will work. I'm no expert in it. Don't ask me too many questions about it, but I think it's really really exciting.
Yeah, don't worry.
Um,
That's really cool. We could literally do a podcast on each one of those. So I'm just going to pick one. Let's go with AI and machine learning. I've been spending quite a lot of time recently figuring out ways how to operationalize things like ChatGPT in
mhm.
bigger companies. And I really want to understand your take on what you think about ChatGPT, risks, benefits, and the general attitude of the industry towards it.
Yeah, so look, I think it's incredible. It really is amazing, and I think it's a big step forward from the some of the previous iterations. Um, at LSEG, we've done a lot of work with large language models, using those large language models as bases to train natural language processing tools on top of those language models. Because normally what you have to do is you take the language model, but then you provide some extra specialization on top, because it's very hard to find a general, to build general purpose machine learning. Normally it has to be very, very specifically tailored to
Hmm.
each individual use case. Um, I think the thing with ChatGPT is going to be, is there chunks of general purpose stuff that it can do now? And then so the number of areas you have to provide that very niche last mile supervised learning and training, it becomes narrower, right? And that's pretty interesting, to see if that happens. Yeah, and people using machine learning in their email and communications every day, and in your professional life, anything that makes your job a little bit easier and faster is pretty welcome. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the specific use cases are then. Where does it break down, and where do you still need that extra specialization, and where something like ChatGPT can, with a generalized solution, can kind of actually solve a problem.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. With innovations like ChatGPT, which is a genuine paradigm shift, I'll
Mm.
compare it to something like the advent of internet, or personal computers. It's this big in my head, and I think maybe many people haven't realized that yet. Um, and I'm not going to hold you to it, but can you have a go at predicting which industry is going to be affected most, or what is going to be in your head? And I know this is a very recent innovation, so you probably haven't had that much time to digest it, as most of us didn't. What would be the coolest, in your opinion, application?
Oh gosh, coolest application. Um, so let me. I think I've already seen, right, across kind of social media content creation, people, templates for letters and all kinds of things. Just huge, huge opportunity there. Somebody keeps sending me Chat GPT recipes that they've generated,
Well, from
which
there,
which
tell me what's in your fridge.
yeah, it's pretty funny. But I think, like, my brother actually works in academia, and he's extremely concerned about, and people in academia are, about students, with writing essays, and writing papers that are, essentially, written by AI. And so I think I'm really interested to see if there's some larger backlash or regulation, or whether the AI itself can actually detect that. But I think that long form or that short form writing, I think is going to be, potentially significantly impacted. I don't think it'd be too long. Plenty of scripts or polishing up of kind of lower value if you're a copywriter, I think you'd be kind of concerned right now. And again, even if the stuff that comes out is garbage, doesn't matter, right? I think often people want to start, right? You get a start and you go back and you edit and you fix. And I think that could be really
if machines like ChatGPT can do 80/20, then that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, and you see it, right? So nowadays, right, with Photoshop, people can do a huge amount of work, right? Now, does that mean that, if you're a graphic designer, do you have less work or more work? Well, you have more powerful tools.
That's right.
You end up having to work on things that are higher value and more important, but you're kind of everyday kind of, website builder tool, people can use tools for that. So I think it's interesting to see, where the shifts will be. The other thing that I as I mentioned, but I think the interesting thing for me in the world of kind of business and professional services or financial services is like where the inefficient workflows, very high value workflows that are inefficient, and can tools like this actually come in to help with communication, with clarity, with making better decisions. And I think one of the things we've worked on AI with a partner called Module Q, which is a launch product, where the AI essentially sits in your cloud tenant, looks at your Outlook, looks at all the meetings you're having, and essentially suggests, right, well, this meeting is coming up. Here's what you need to know about these people. Here's what you need to know. Here's the context around all of that, so that you're prepared for your next meeting, right? And if you've got 20 people and it's a meeting about some important deal, that's a very important use of AI. And I can see developing those things kind of further. Every session meeting you go into, if you're a lawyer, a banker, you come in and you've got all the information you need condensed and ready for you, and that you can respond with really accurate, detailed information, straight away. And I think that, we're all cursed with too many meetings. And I think using tools like ChatGPT for those very mundane kind of things, say meetings is not like that, but optimizing some of that workflow is, I think, absolutely doable. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what Microsoft had in mind when they invested in OpenAI, because I think that's exactly where they're going to focus.
Last question in this area, kind of trying to link back to what we were talking about earlier. So ChatGPT, this really big shift in paradigm. A lot of companies will be jumping on an opportunity to innovate with it, try to find use cases. This doesn't happen often when a shift of paradigm like that happens. So people will probably looking a lot into the use cases from the past to see if they can solve something they couldn't solve before. Do you have any tips around doing that, thinking in this way from an innovation perspective?
Yeah, I think it's the same structured approach, right? Find use cases, put them in those boxes, 1, 2, and 3, and where's that sweet spot where if something's not perfect, like ChatGPT is not perfect, right? It's going to keep changing. It's going to keep on changing, right? So where is an area where you can test it, you can deploy it, and you can learn from it, and you can build up the skill sets in your team to use it, so that they can then work on the next one. So often see, improving internal processes. So, maybe the procurement team communicating with, buyers internally. Then you go out to, maybe customer support and customer service, those kind of use cases. Then you go out to, building new products. I think there's a lot of use cases where you could see ChatGPT really revolutionizing the support that firms provide to end users. And I think that's, it's an area where chat is already being used. People are used to it. They expect it now. And so I think that's a pretty fertile ground to start with. But I think there are much bigger use cases out there that are possible, but I haven't spent too much time thinking about it, so I don't have a great idea off the top of my head. If I did, I'd probably keep it to myself for now anyway. So